Move and be moved by these savings right now at Team Mazda. Choose a new 25 Mazda CX-50, Mazda CX-70, or Mazda CX-90 and get low 1.9% financing. Discover the Mazda experience and save right now at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda.
But I mean, like instead of soda.
Yeah.
Oh,
Cherry cola. Sometimes pop.
You call it cola?
Yeah.
Wait, you
And
call it
pop, too.
Cherry
That's-
cola.
oh my God.
Because there's a difference, a
You're
distinct difference
ambidextrous?
between cola and Pepsi.
Like,
Very
like
distinct
Pepsi
difference.
Cola.
Pepsi Cola.
sweeter.
Yes,
I
it
bet
is
that's
sweeter.
right.
Yes, my dad loved Pepsi.
Really?
Yes,
A
all
Pepsi
big
fan.
Pepsi fan growing up.
So, okay, well, that's ridiculous. That conversation literally started just 10 seconds ago.
Yes.
Unplanned, not
Yes.
pre-planned or any of this. Like most of the stuff just hatches kind of naturally.
Whatever
I'm
is
sorry.
planned.
But depending on where you are in the country, that little beverage is called something else.
Soda.
Yeah,
Pop.
That's the thing. Okay,
But I'll
so
hear people combine it and say soda,
soda
pop.
pop.
Yes.
That's the new. Okay, so that's the
Redundant.
New Yorker in you.
Yeah.
As I was living in New York, absolutely called it soda.
Yeah.
And so when I moved from New York to Wyoming, different part of the world, they called it pop. Right? And so, I mean, I'm like, you ask for a pop in New York, you get smacked in the
get
face or
punched.
handed a drug.
Yes.
And so it was soda to pop down here.
Coke.
All
Everything's
Coke.
Coke.
Yes.
Everything's
Coke.
a Coke.
Coke.
Yes.
Give me a Coke.
Can I have
Yeah.
a cherry Coke?
But
I
then you
wanted
got
a
to
Dr.
define it.
Pepper.
Right.
That's a Coke. You said Coke.
You said
Well, I
Coke.
meant
You
Dr.
got to
Pepper.
define
Right.
it.
I know, right?
We're so weird, us,
It
us
is.
Americans. We're so
I
weird.
The
know.
Coke machine. Go get me a Dr. Pepper out of the Coke
Oh, the
machine.
Hey man, you got any Pepsi in that Coke machine? No,
Yeah.
you're an idiot.
It's a different company and product entirely.
It really is. Do you have a favorite?
Dr. Pepper. Or
Yes.
actually, when I lived in North Carolina, there is something magical called cheer wine. It's like a cherry cola, but it tastes just like cherries. Not so much cola,
Yeah.
but it's bottled and it is cherry heaven.
wine.
Cheer wine.
Cheer wine.
Cheer
Like
wine. It's
wine,
specific
but-
to North
but
Carolina.
it's not wine.
It's not wine. It's soda.
Do we know who
There's
makes
no
it?
alcohol in it?
No,
or?
no.
Do we know who
It's
makes
soda.
it? Like whose parent company? Who's
Good
the umbrella
question.
company?
I want to say that it's with the same company that makes Squirt.
Oh, there you go.
I
Makes
think
Squirt.
so.
I don't
but
know
I
who
could
makes
be
Squirt.
wrong.
I've never
You're
heard
not-
it myself.
I didn't-
I was going to say I cheer for wine. I mean, that's
Ooh, yeah,
that's
me
something
too.
right
all in.
there.
Yeah. You have to try it. I'll have to get my
You
hands
need
on some bottles.
Go to Sonic and get a cherry Dr. Pepper. Oh, those
Now
are so
that
good.
is
Sonic
money.
mixes up some great flavors.
heck
Man, they got
yeah.
all the stuff. You ain't
time.
lying. They got some good
Yes,
ones.
indeed.
Do you have a favorite soda? That was like a kid.
I
growing
like
up?
cherry Dr. Pepper. I'm a Dr. Pepper. I'm a pepper.
You're a Dr. Pepper?
From high school
I
on.
got half my family that way too. The other half, Barks. And I was a Barks
Root
kid growing up.
beer.
Absolutely a Barks kid, but it had to be Barks.
Yeah.
Couldn't be like, I mean, there's some other stuff out there. Absolutely.
Root beer on
A&W.
ice cream and
Sure.
a float. Root
There you
beer
go.
float.
Privately owned. We've just learned from our producer Kirsten that cheer wine is privately owned. Thank you.
Okay.
But by
Carolina Beverage Corporation, which makes
Yeah,
sense that
that's
it's
very
native to
specific.
Carolina.
Makes sense.
Going back to root beer, I always thought that it tastes like toothpaste.
really?
I can't shake that.
No
yeah.
kidding.
So then an ice cream
What
with
are you
toothpaste
brushing
float.
your teeth with?
The good stuff.
Yeah,
Barks.
apparently root beer. It's got a weird malty taste to me.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah, baby.
brushing your teeth. They say Barks has bite. Maybe
Oh,
that's,
my gosh.
Maybe that's the whole reason why. I
That's
don't
got to
know.
be the slogan.
I like
That's
it.
got to be the slogan.
Back in the day, did they still? I mean, I'm sure they still do. They were the only ones who put caffeine in the root beer. All the other stuff would be naturally caffeine-free, the root beer.
Well,
So
caffeine. Barks is caffeine free.
Barks has caffeine in it. So I'm saying, do they?
Yeah.
They put caffeine into it.
Most root beers are caffeine free.
That's
Are
why I just.
they?
Yeah.
Did I just say that? Did I just say
Ping
that?
pong,
I'm like,
ping
yes,
pong,
now root beers
ping
are
pong.
naturally caffeine-free.
talking?
I don't know what I'm saying.
Are you
Is
talking?
it
I have no
true?
idea.
Here's a question,
But Barks
because
put
I've
it in
read this. Is it true that they used to put Coke in Coke?
That,
you know what I'm
well,
talking
I know,
about.
You know what
Yeah,
we're talking about.
that is
yeah,
rumored.
that was the thing, I guess.
Long ago, maybe when it was first made.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Times have changed.
Yeah, they have.
I promise it's.
There's caffeine
Just
in
coffee in it.
Coca-Cola.
From Coca-Cola to Schedule 1, I tell
my
you. I'm
God,
more
you're right.
partial. I'm more of a Mountain Dew guy myself.
you
But
do the
I-
Dew?
and
Yes.
I love it, but I've
Yeah.
recently found out there's some stuff in there, like some crazy stuff that's like.
I don't hear about it.
Like I don't know if it's a flame retardant or if it's flammable. It's one of
makes
those
sense.
two that I read.
That makes sense.
There's
Yeah.
some caffeine in that. I'll
Yeah.
tell you
Oh,
right now.
Heck
Man,
yeah.
when I moved from New York to Wyoming, that's
Yeah.
all they were drinking.
Yeah.
This stuff was pumping through their veins like blood. It was all Mountain Dew all the
Yeah,
time.
what is that?
It tastes
It was
good.
a lot.
But you wonder with soda, that's got to be the same case for every soda, right? With the dyes and the different
dyes, yeah.
and the caffeine
Yeah.
measures and the things that are in there. Tastes good, but probably not good for you.
Yeah, no, definitely not. It's all sugary. It's like
Yeah.
the cereal too. I read the other day that Fruit Loops chemically is no different from candy. It's literally, when you break it down, it's basically just candy
Makes
going
sense.
into your
Why I like
milk.
it so
It does
much.
That's probably why we do
Yeah.
But
it.
hey, as long as it's part of a complete breakfast,
Hey,
which
I
means
suppose.
precisely nothing.
Nothing.
Well.
Exactly. Well, as long as they're putting the additives in all of our foods and beverages,
preserves.
we're keeping the pharmaceuticals alive. So
Oh,
there you go.
exactly. Yeah, we're going right back over.
Don't get me
Well,
started on
speaking
that.
of pharmaceuticals,
Yes.
did you ever get a soda when you were sick? What did Mom prescribe?
Coke.
Yeah,
for your
Coke.
upset
You
You got
stomach.
Coke?
Coke
Ginger
syrup.
ale.
Coke syrup?
Was the thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man,
What'd you
that's
have?
sweet though.
That's 7-Up.
7-Up, Sprite,
Yeah.
or ginger ale?
Ginger
Ginger
ale.
ale
To
is
this
always
day,
a
if
thing,
you have
yeah.
a stomachache, we always have
Ginger ale.
ginger ale in the
Ginger ale.
fridge,
Yeah.
just in case. And it seems to suit that. That's what I always get on the airplane.
Yeah.
When they ask what your
Ah,
drink
there you go.
is, ginger ale and water,
Well,
because you just.
You should do. You should mix a ginger ale with whiskey and Coke and some simple syrup and some lime.
What is that called?
Delicious.
That's called you're going to get well or you're not going to care.
It's delicious.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is
Either
that,
way.
is that supposed to fix something?
Yeah, your mood, and it's so good.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm here
Still
for
a
it.
mood
It's
fixer to
an
this
actual
day.
drink, but I can't
That
remember.
sounds real refreshing,
No, it's
especially
good.
with these hot temperatures.
temperatures?
That
You're
with the
right.
whiskey sounds great about now.
Yeah, what can we do to fix these temps there, Jared?
Beautiful segue, by the way.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, we can't do anything for the temperatures.
Oh.
Yeah, back to you guys.
Make more of the
Exactly, and
cocktail
commercial.
for us, though.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's 5 o'clock somewhere out
Yes,
there.
indeed.
A little bit of an ominous-looking sky over here in Gulfport, or near Gulfport. This is actually in Mississippi, and once again, they actually had a couple of storms that were forming between there and the New Orleans area, but they are falling apart before they make their way into Baton Rouge. Scattered storms for today. It's a chance, not a guarantee. And then for Wednesday, mainly dry. That means hotter. Temperatures go higher, and hot also for the LSU celebration, although it will be good. And for the most part, even though we've got rain chances in the mix, we don't have any washouts expected on the horizon. There aren't any heat advisories in our neck of the woods, but you don't have to go too far to the north to catch a couple of those. Hopefully, we're going to be able to avoid that for tomorrow when the temperatures soar to the mid-90s. We've got mid-70s over the next couple of days, locked down as far as the dew points. So the way it feels out there, the forecast heat indices, they're going to be hovering around 103, maybe creeping up around 105 over the next couple of afternoons. Here are the showers that I was talking about. They're trying to cling to life right here as they move across the lakes, then going to places like Convent and French Settlement. But you see, they get a little weaker, a little bit weaker, and by the time they make it here in Baton Rouge, I expect they'll probably fall apart altogether, but we'll probably hold on to some of the cloud cover. That would be a helpful thing to keep the heat down. Then you see the Futurecast wants to paint a couple of isolated thunderstorms of the non-severe variety later in the afternoon. I don't think we'll get quite as hot as 96, but we're not going to be that far off over the next couple of days. Yesterday, by the way, we made it up to 94. And then the HRRR, which is usually the bullish one, the aggressive one, is actually relatively quiet today. This is 5 p.m. in and around Baton Rouge, and it actually has us unscathed by any of that wet weather. Then we talk about the tropics as we are gearing up for hurricane season. Of course, we're just a few weeks into the season, and we got a 50-50 chance on this system right here in the middle of the Atlantic, and that is over the next 2 and 7 days respectively. Finally did get the update in the Eastern Pacific, but no changes. 10% over the next 2 days, 70%. So there's a good chance that becomes their next named storm. Things are very active and busy in the Eastern Pacific, but they've been relatively quiet in the tropical Atlantic as we follow the Saharan air layer, the SAL, aka African dust. And that's going to pump in a couple of thick plumes as we get to the late week going into the weekend. So this is Sunday, and not only does it just hang out in the middle of the Gulf, it actually gets pumped into Louisiana and Texas. So as we get to the weekend, as we get to Sunday, I wouldn't be surprised if we had a little bit of haziness out there to our sunshine. Meanwhile, that's that big heat dome in the eastern half of the United States you've been hearing so much about, and it really doesn't budge that much over the next couple of days. So the hot forecast for the East Coast and back over here, that stays. We'll increase the rain chances for today at about 40 to 50% in the afternoon, so definitely not a guarantee that everybody gets wet. Then for tonight, 20% early, 0% later with an overnight low in the mid-70s. As I mentioned, for the LSU celebration Wednesday evening, even though it's going to be during the evening, it's still going to be very hot out there. The rain chances are very, very small, so I don't think you'll need the rain gear. But again, even at 7 p.m., it's still going to be kind of hovering around the 90-degree mark. And there you see, actually, that's my hottest forecast for tomorrow. Wednesday looks to be the hottest day of the week. And then we've got a pretty standard, typical summertime weather pattern the rest of the way. 7-11 about to be 7-12. Yes, sir.
Is it true the Saharan dust
Yes.
can be a positive as far as minimizing storm formation?
Yes, there are two things that put a lid, very good question, Johnny, two things that put a lid on development. One, the African dust, two, wind shear, and we've got both of them right now in the Atlantic, which is a big reason why we haven't had any named storms yet. We hope we can keep this thing rolling as long as we can.
Thank you very much. Awesome. Quickly out to the interstates. It's still kind of holding steady, our slowest traffic, Denham to Baton Rouge, and that's usually the case, and it's not even that bad. We are seeing some backup right here at Range, and then as you move into East Baton Rouge Parish, right past the O'Neill Lane area, just a little brake tap in there as you go across O'Neill. Here's I-12 at the Amite River Bridge, right upper right side of your screen, and then from the O'Neill Lane toward Millerville, and then past Millerville on toward Sherwood. We've picked up in speed a little bit, just a tiny bit there. Our drive times are still holding about 18 to 20 minutes coming in from Denham Springs, and drive times have dropped to, speeds have dropped to about 35 miles per hour on some sections of that. You're watching WAFB 9 News Now. We do it every morning a little after 7, then again at 3:30 in the afternoon, 9 at night. Back with a couple of headlines you might have missed. WAFB's Liz Coe and Matt Williams next. Stay with us.